What's up? It's Hallie. Welcome back to more Aidyn Plus. When we last left off, we were in the desert, and we picked up Cholet, and now she's right in front of us, even though she's also in our party. This is that event that appears after you already talked to her once, and she's like, hey, I'll meet you in Ugrit. And there is another place in Ugrit where you can recruit her. You can talk to her in the inn, but that event has the same problem that this one does, wherein she will not be able to join if you don't have an empty slot. And it also has a plot flag that triggers, which will prevent you from recruiting her ever if you don't get her the first time, so it's okay, we've got her. We don't have to worry about this anymore, but yeah, getting Cholet is always a buggy mess. So anyway, I've got a few things around the desert that I want to clean up. A bunch of encounters of things that aren't really super interesting anymore. I guess we can look at Cholet's stats before I start talking about other junk too much. A single giant scorpion this late in the game. We'll look at her stats when it gets around to her turn. How about that? Hey, Cholet. Here you are. You've got your very basic starting dagger. So, here's her starting loadout. I think I changed this in the update, but it's what she has for now. She's also got a bow. It's the bow we saw her using in the fight with the Chaos Major. Where is it? Where? Yeah, I guess it was I think it was the bow shielding I gave her, actually. But yeah, let's get her set up with some stuff. She can use the shriveled heart, she's lunar. I guess that's the other reason it was good that we got rid of Baird instead of Donovan, because now she can use the lunar stuff. Yeah, take those, and take these. Do you want this? Yeah, your dex isn't perfect anymore, although it's at +7 right now for some reason. How is your dex +7? Oh, it must be the shoes I just equipped. Because they've got haste built into them. Oh, but no, there's a boost of striding. There aren't the boost of speed. I don't know where her other dex boost came from. Maybe I'm just going insane. And we had... yeah, everyone's in... oh. You can't change armors in combat. That's fine. That's okay. That'll do it for now. Oh yeah, we're gonna actually look at her stats. Herp derp. She used to have 30s in a lot of things. Now she's down to 24s here, 18 intelligence. So here's the thing about her intelligence. In the original game, there's a fairly notorious glitch where the first time you get Cholet, her intelligence will be 30, and then when you save and load the game again, it will drop to 3. This is actually a glitch I got to the bottom of in the ROM itself. Because whenever you go to her stat block in there, oh, here's her spells. This is what she's got, yay. Whenever you get or look at her stat block inside the thing, the value they entered for her intelligence is 23. But here's the thing. The data in there is in hexadecimal. So 23 does not mean the literal number 23, but it represents the value 35, which is 5 points higher than the game's maximum allowed intelligence. So, for whatever reason, it seems that they made Cholet above average intelligent for the max of a hero, and because of that, whenever you would save and load the game, it would notice this error and set her intelligence to 3 instead. Go figure. So, what I decided to do, well, what I originally did was I fixed it so that she had 23 intelligence instead of 30, because I figured if 23 is the value they entered, then maybe that was supposed to be her intended intelligence all along. But then I had to nerf her, because later on I decided I wanted to make it so that their levels matched the experience they would have at those levels. So I used 23 as the base intelligence for her, and reduced it from there relative to everything else. So yeah, that's the story with Cholet and all her buggy intelligence nonsense. There's like this big old stretch of desert here, and that black obelisk is Ugrit. We're going to be getting there in just a bit. I want to clean up the encounters in front of it, and I want to make sure we hit a couple scenes with Ferris that should be out this way. It's getting late though, we're going to camp. And while we're taking care of all that, I can talk about the update I just put out for this mod recently. Like, this last weekend, I guess I gotta date this video for you so I know what I mean, or you know what I mean when I say last weekend. I'm recording this on the 19th of November in 2020, so last weekend was the 14th and 15th. I spent the whole thing, literally the entire thing, modding this game. I didn't think the changes I needed to make would be that drastic, but the time added up and it turned into a whole thing. Freaking Wraith. Oh, no, there's the thing. The world is burning! There's no safety, but this little charm is bound to save me! Don't laugh at them, Ferris. If they want to be hysterical, the only thing to do is laugh! I'll tell you something. Ever since you demolished that tower, I'm seeing a whole new side of people. A lot more fear and anger. Stranger and suspicious of stranger. Neighbor turning on neighbor, and all these crazy ideas. Just now I met a lady who thinks Silverroot can stop zombies, and a man who says the minions are controlling the thoughts of his dogs. It's all getting so interesting. Do you still have the staff? Of course. The minions followed, but they proved quite stupid in the end. I flashed them with that light and they ran howling. Let's see, what are my options here? Collect them, chasing, right? Well, I let them use escape. Do you know what that light is? Hey, let's ask him. Do you know what that light is? Yes, it's power. It frightens minions, it controls zombies, and it can show what will be. Show me. Show me what? What will be? Are you sure you want to know? Yes. Then close your eyes. And imagine you are covered in light. You're someplace high, very high, and you can look down on the whole plane. Do you see? Yes, I see. Don't open your eyes. Feel the light. See the light. The light has color. I think I'm seeing red. You need the horn in the Kainon song. You must play well, better than you know how. The last sound he will hear in a world no longer his. He is tied to small familiar forms, and it will be difficult for him to give up. This is red. There's all kinds of cryptic stuff you can get out of that conversation. Also, apparently that Wraith turned into a giant skeleton in the middle of our discussion there. I guess that encounter is a Wraith at night and a skeleton by day. But anyway, as I was saying, before we were so rudely interrupted by a jester, I updated the mod, and changed a bunch of things. A lot of them are things I already talked about, and I'm going to be discussing them here again anyway. I won't go over them in super detail, because like I said, a lot of it is things I rambled on about before. Just while we're taking care of encounters and before we get to Ugrit and I see some interesting things. Oh, I didn't give you a weapon, did I? I just kind of gave you everything but. Sorry, like totally scatterbrained. I should probably just give her a bow. Bow of accuracy is pretty dang good. I don't think I have anything better, actually. Oh, but Brenna's our throwing person. You're supposed to be our axe person, huh? Yeah, you get the axe. You're not strong enough for that one. Oh no. Do I have a great axe? I have a great sword. What a setback. Or wait, no, Aileron's this... I'm getting all across up. She needs the Warfang, but she's not strong enough for that either. Her strength is only 16. Okay, I guess we're using something else. Can't use that. Too weak. Too weak for that. Ah, oh, man. You're just not equipped for sword using right now. Okay, I guess you can stick with your stealth blade. Oh, and that's where her extra boost in dexterity came from. It was the stealth blade. It's +2. Whatever. So, the changes. The biggest thing that changed was the spells. Like I talked about before, I adjusted their experience and their reagents and their wizard rank to learn. All kinds of fun stuff. That's been overhauled. It's wonderful. But the main reason it took me so long to get through everything was that since I updated the spells in their stuff, I had to update the costs of all the magic items because I had based their cost in gold off of the spells and their like ranks and experience to learn and all that jazz. Oh, Brenna's the one who needs to do that. So that got all sorted out. Changing the cost of everything was a big pain, but it worked out in the end, and now the prices are all adjusted accordingly. What else? The enemies. I guess it's worth mentioning that the version I'm playing right now is still the previous version, and we're going to finish this run on that version because I wanted to see it through, and I know the LP has kind of been dragging along. And we're nearly at the end anyway, so I don't feel like switching versions now would be really indicative of what it should be anyway. But one of the other major things that changed are the enemy levels. So, I think I might have mentioned once before that there are 99 enemies on the enemy list in this game. And the way I had rebalanced their levels was that I put 3 on each level from 1 through 33, because 3 in each, 33 times 3, that's 99. Alan and Donovan both leveled up. That's amazing. How about you get some strength so you can use your Warfang? Yay! That might have just been enough. He's all full on stamina. Get me over 10. I'm just gonna start maxing things. I don't even care. Oh, can't do that one yet. How about strength? Oh. Brenna, you didn't level. Donovan leveled. Crap. Donovan, get your stamina up. Yay. Oop. He's still got a lot, though. We should give him something else. Sure, why not? Oh, that's why not. That's why. You're our pole guy, aren't you? Yeah, here, get some more pole. Hooray. So, yeah. There are 3 enemies on every level, but as we've been going through this, I've kind of noticed that the extra levels aren't really helping them. Like, I know I've been cheesing the entire difficulty curve with the aura spells so far, but even then, like the times when I would bother to fight the monsters, we've just been dunking on them hard. And the heroes are resilient enough to fight uphill battles. I think the best indicator of this is the bridge battle in Port Said with like the chaos monsters that you're not supposed to be able to handle, but through the use of potions and good tactics you can still beat them. This is not the way I want to go. So I decided that maybe we could push the limit even further. In this version, the final boss is level 33. In the new version, the final boss is level 40. What I decided to do was to put only 2 of each monster on every level, from 1 through 40, because 40 is the max. That's the highest the level can actually get in this game, without breaking limits. The heroes can get there too. It just takes a whole lot of grinding, and you'll probably run out of stats to raise before you would even hit level 40, and it would be a very boring time for you too. I think I mentioned that in a normal run of the game, you'll usually end up about level 30 by the end of it, if you don't shy away from combat too much. But yeah, since the heroes are capable of taking on things tougher than them, I didn't see any harm in making the monsters higher level than them by a pretty serious margin. Most of the highest levels ended up in the hands of bosses and things, so that's all well and good. I think the highest common enemy is the Minotaur Lord at level 37, which is still pretty intense. I'm gonna give her a Warfang real quick. Yay! Warfang! But you may have noticed a little caveat with the previous thing I mentioned, where if there were 33 monsters on each level and it ended up at 33, well, if there are only 2 monsters at each level, that doesn't work out. That's only enough levels for 80 monsters, and there would be 19 left over. Well, I looked over the enemy list and I tried to pare it down by 19 members, because it's not like I removed them from the game or anything, they're all still in there. It's just that some enemies could justifiably be the same level as each other. Like, for example, the elementals that we fought at the gates, all 4 of them could be the same level and no one would bat an eyelash, even though they're all 4 separate monsters. And like the same with things like the dryads, male and female. And there are also many enemies that share the same enemy model that could reasonably have the same stats. Most of the time, enemies that have the same model are like one's a weaker version of another. Like these are giant scorpions, and there's large scorpions which are smaller and therefore less threatening. Obviously, it would not make sense for those to be on the same level, but there are some that do share models and sizes. And the most notable example of those would be the goblins in the beginning. Like, there's goblins and goblin scouts who have the same model and are roughly the same size, as well as sergeants and poisoners, assassins and lieutenants, so on and so forth. There were a bunch of those. So I also excluded the monsters that are not present in the game at all. Those being 2 types of shadow bandits and the giant squid. So after all of those were removed, it actually worked out really nicely. There were only 20 I wanted to leave out of the factoring, and that was one more than I needed, but one of them was the Shadow, which is technically an enemy you can fight, but also technically not really, because those battles are special and cannot be won by normal means. They just end whenever you approach the Shadow. So I decided to make the Shadow the counterpart to the final boss as the level 40 monster. So the Shadow is now level 40, and the final boss is level 40. And everything else is somewhere between 1 and 39. This is very likely going to affect the endgame significantly more than the early game, because most of the things at the start are still about the same level as they were in this, which is fine, because they never needed it in the first place. But the late game enemies will be higher level, and hopefully that will be enough to give them a little more staying power. Because I think it might even help with the aura spells and such, because I'm pretty sure that level is a factor in whether an enemy will run away from you or not. So if things are too high level for the heroes, they might stick around even after you cast an aura spell on them. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I've got my fingers crossed for that. I don't really know how it's going to work out. It's definitely going to take some testing. I'm pretty sure the heroes will be able to handle it regardless, because there are just so many things you can do in this game to make yourself more powerful. It probably won't be an issue for them, or at least, even if it is, the game will still be doable, if a little unreasonable, perhaps. So I'm not super worried about it. Just a little concerned. Let's see, what else was there? Was there anything else? I'm trying to remember like the things I put in the post about it. I adjusted the effects of some of the spells. Not all of them, just some of them. Oh, aren't you brave not leaving? That one left. I tried to vary up the way spells work if they have, like, other similar or the same spells. Like, for the best example, I guess, would be the shielding moves. Air Shield, Starlight Shield, and Spirit Shield. All 3 of these moves do exactly the same thing, but the only difference between them is, like, their school and their range. Air Shield had the biggest range, and Starlight Shield had the smallest. Pardon me. So I decided to vary up the style of the spells to make them all different from each other, even though they still all boost protection. Since Starlight Shield has the smallest circle, I made it so that it affects everything that fits in that circle, but you've basically gotta be close enough to your allies to make it work. Like, even at rank 10, Starlight Shield's circle is not super huge. So, I think that's actually the way it always was. It's the only one I kept the same, really. Or to make the other ones different. Sorry, I'm like trying to think what I need to level up on you now that I've got 90 stamina. I guess we could get your thief back up there. Well, let's do your warrior first, since you're a thrower. Oh, warrior's so expensive. That's fine, whatever. Can you go mechanic? No. Get your throwing? Sure. There you go, Brenna. So,